Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden. Today we are inside in the new studio. I'm really excited to be filming here. This is actually one of my favorite times of the year. January is like so refreshing to me. It's a fresh start. It's an opportunity to clean and organize and make plans for the upcoming year. And I relish January. It's one of my favorite months, despite there's not very much gardening to be done at this time. But I'm really excited today to show you all my latest seed haul from Baker Creek Seeds, also known as rareseeds.com. Now, I've been ordering from Baker Creek for quite a while, probably 5 years at this point, and I've always had a really great results. I've never had an issue with shipping. I've never had an issue with any kind of customer service. I've never received the wrong seeds and nothing along those lines. Yes, there are some seeds over the years that have not germinated for me, but I do put a lot of that up to my own fault as I learn and try to discover how to best get seeds germinated and growing for me. Baker Creek has a beautiful website, very easy to order from, lots of information. I also love their whole seed catalog, which is really fun. You do have to pay to order this particular one, but I feel like it's worth it because it's something that I actually really enjoy. I keep it in my car, in the passenger seat, and anytime I have time when I'm waiting to pick up kids from school or dance or in between baseball games, I flip through it and I make notes and I enjoy it. The photos are absolutely stunning, very artistically done, which I think is really fun. I do find that a lot of times, specifically for flowers, because that's the kind of seeds I mostly buy, there's a lot of artistic photos done in here, like this particular one, but it doesn't show the size of the plant, which is something that's kind of important to me. So you do have to make sure you read down to that information, because you might see a beautiful picture such as this, but you really need to read back to what size the blooms actually are and what size the plant is, which I think is really important. Let me see if I can find somewhere they show the actual size of the plant. Whereas like these right here, where they actually have a person holding particular plants to show you the size. I like those too, which are nice, but I love the artistically done photos as well. Being an artist myself, I'm appreciative of the time and effort that it takes to do things like that. But it's just a really fun, beautiful catalog. It's typically around $15, which I know for a lot of people is like, hey, but y'all, this is a big old book. This takes a lot of effort for them to put together. It costs a lot of money for them to put together. So truthfully, even paying $15, I can't think that they're making all that much off this book with the amount of time and effort that's put into creating something of this size and this caliber. But I love having it. I think once you have one of them, you can use it for reference for a couple of years. One thing about Baker Creek is that anytime that they add new seeds, they put it on their website, and there's a separate category for all the new seeds for that particular year. So you can always keep the old book and then just reference any of their new seeds on the website, which is wonderful. Okay, I'm going to go through the seeds that I ordered this year, just talk to you a little bit about why I ordered them and what I'm going to be utilizing them for. And then at the very end of the video, I'm going to have the top 3 seeds from Baker Creek that I am most excited about growing in 2023. Okay, one thing about Baker Creek Seeds is they always send you free seeds, which is really fun. And this year they sent me 2 varieties. They're not necessarily things that I grow, so typically I will give these away, which is fun because I have lots of people in my neighborhood who garden. So the first one is a St. Valerie carrot. And the second one is a Japanese wasabi radish, which that's actually pretty cool. My husband really does like wasabi. Perfect. It says this round shape Japanese daikon radish has intensely pungent, spicy flavor, perfect for lovers of wasabi. That actually might be pretty good to go for my husband. So those, keeping on that line, those are some vegetables. I did order a few things. I ordered a couple of types of tomatoes. Typically with my tomatoes, I like to grow more of a container style, patio style tomato. I don't typically do like really massive varieties of tomatoes, and that's just because they're not something that I'm super interested in growing, but I do love growing them just for the whimsy of it. I love growing cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, those type of varieties, because they're really easy to just pop into a salad. My husband loves to just go out to the porch, pick what he wants, take it for his lunch that day. So the two varieties that I ordered this year are the tomato indigo blue chocolate, and this one is 80 days. It's an indeterminate, so if you're growing tomatoes, an indeterminate means the vine will just keep going bigger, 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 bigger. A determinate means that the bush or the tomato vine will stop at a particular height, like 3 feet, 2 feet, whatever. This is an indeterminate, and it has sweet and juicy with black, rich skin. This small slicing tomato averages 1 to 2 ounces and reaches 7 to 8 feet. So it sounds really good. It has a good long shelf life, and it's resistant to sunburn and crack resistant as well. So I'll be starting that. I love the color. That was beautiful. And then this other one was just so sweet. It's called Orange Hat, and it's an extra dwarf bush plant. Grows just 6 to 9 inches tall and produces oodles of tiny orange orbs bursting with fruity sweetness. So this was perfect for an indoor or patio plant, or even an edible border. So I thought this was just the sweetest little thing. I definitely want to grow it in these little sweet terracotta pots as well. So I'm looking forward to doing both of those. Now, as you all know, my main focus is cut flowers. And so I have a variety of flowers out here. Some of them are annual ornamentals. Some of them are, actually none of these are perennial this year. No, I didn't buy any perennials. Some of these are extra tall, ridiculously tall cut flowers. Some of them are just for beautiful, you know, a beautiful look. So let's start with sunflowers, which is something I love to grow every year. I did get the Mammoth gray striped sunflower. Now I'm not growing this as a cut flower. I'm growing this just for the whimsy of it. I'm going to be planting it along one of my fences, and I think it'll be really fun, but these are about 10 feet tall. I'm also growing the Evening Sun variety of sunflowers, and I've grown this before, and I'm very happy with the colors that they produce. This one's about 7 feet tall, produces many burgundy, rust, bronze, bright yellow, crimson, and bicolored flowers. This is a super easy variety to grow in my particular area, Zone 8A. It does really, really well and produces beautiful blooms. Next, I chose this one called ASTRA Gold, cut for its kind of like weird kind of vibe. I thought it was really fun. It's kind of has feathery shredded petals, give the stunner a wild and untamed look, standing 5 to 6 feet tall and about 1 foot wide, with multi-branching stems and plenty of heads per plant. So if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know I love branching sunflowers, and this is a branching sunflower, so it'll be multiple blooms on one stem. And new to Baker Creek this year is the ice cream sunflower, and I had to have it because it's called ice cream. And it is it's a native wildflower with lemon chiffon petals with a coffee center, irresistible to a range of native pollinators, 5 to 6 feet tall, drought tolerant, salt tolerant. It should be really fun. It reminded me of the white Italian sunflowers that I've grown in the past, but it's really pretty, and I'll be excited to give this a try. All right, this year I'm going to be starting a variety of violas and pansies. I'm going to be actually starting them later this week, and I have grown to really love violas and pansies, and I love how they kind of stick around for a while. Last year I didn't have to pull them until June, so I got a lot of joy from it. And then I'm going to be starting some of these again in August for winter planting. So the first one is viola, and it's called Mineola Heart Aqua. And anything that has an aqua or blue color, I'm always kind of interested in, because there's not a lot of blue flowers out there. It says this is perennial in zones 4 through 9, or it can grow as an annual, heart-shaped edible blooms and an unusual color combination of mustard green and aqua blue. So I'm really excited to get those started. And then I also have another viola. I was really drawn to the black flowers this year, which is kind of different for me. This one is called Bowles Black, and it's a charming antique black pansy popularized by E.A. Bowles at the turn of the 20th century. Plants stand 6 inches tall and are great for beds, borders, pots, and baskets. But yeah, really excited to grow some of these a little bit more sultry. And then on that note, I also picked up a black pansy called Black Devil. And it's an India ink color with a diminutive yellow eye. Contact floriferous plants reach 6 inches tall and look fantastic. Planted chock-a-block for a dramatic effect. But I think these will be really fun. I'm not going to start tons and tons of these, but I'm going to be starting some of these to tuck into some of my cut flower gardens around the edges and borders, just so I have something pretty going while I'm waiting for the rest of my cut flowers to grow. I'm also going to be utilizing these. I would love to do a fairy garden that focuses mainly on black, dark, deep colors. I think that would be really fun this year. Of course, I have a couple of varieties of zinnias. I've grown one of these varieties before, which is Polar Bear. This is a tried and true white double bloom zinnia. Love it. It does well for me every single year, so definitely worth the purchase. And then I'm also growing a zinnia Queen Lime Blush again. This is one of my ones I really enjoyed last year. It has a wide variety of tones of colors, but this is a really great series of zinnias to grow, the Queen Lime series, if you haven't done so already. I also had a whole lot of luck with the Queen Lime Orange last year. Another variety I'm going to be starting this week is Status, and I got the Pacific Mix, which I have purchased before from Baker Creek and I had a lot of success with. And this is an old-fashioned favorite, widest possible range of rich jewel tones from purple, rose to lemon yellow, superb for drying. This is a really fun flower. It's very drought resistant, but this is great for my particular area. I also have Ageratum, the mixed variety, and this is a soft pastel lavender, blue and white. Ageratum makes a lot of nectar and supporting beneficial insects. This is really fun to utilize in arrangements. This does reseed itself very well in my area, which I'm totally fine with, but I needed new seeds because the area where it has reseeded itself in the past is going to be changed up for this next season. This will be the first year that I'm going to be growing some of my own coleus. As you all know, I love coleus. I love using it for flower arrangements. I love tucking it into my flower beds. It's just an all-around great plant with a wide variety of textures and colors. So I did get, this is new to Baker Creek this year. It's called Colacha Sunset, and it's kind of like a peachy color, which is beautiful. A burst of tropical sunset colors and busy frilled leaf edges make this one a unique and eye-catching coleus. It's only about 12 inches tall, so it's way more compact, something that I'm going to be growing for containers or borders in my garden. A new to me Cosmos, which is also a new to Baker Creek this year, is called Apricota. And it is darling blooms in a color like pink lemonade, 3.5 feet tall plants that produce cheerful large blooms. The flowers reach just over 3 inches across and draw a range of pollinators. These are really great for cutting, and I love Cosmos for their whimsical quality. Now I'm also going to be starting some of my own petunias, and I'll probably be starting them not this week, maybe next week or the week after, pretty soon, because I do want to have them for the spring. They sprout in 7 to 14 days. I'm not sure what their maturity range is. I'll have to look it up. But the first one is new to Baker Creek this year, and it's called Lace Veil. It's a completely unique petunia with fascinating frazzled edges. These 3-inch blooms are bordered in fine ruffles, giving the blooms an appearance of delicate lace. This dazzling snow white variety hails from the Czech Republic and is one of our favorites. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then this other petunia is called Super Bisma Cerny's Triumph Mix. It's quite the mouthful. Blooms in a range of colors and forms in tones of lavender, plum, purple, and ivory. All blooms have deeply ruffled edges. Some are double petaled and some are single. The plants are about 1 to 2 feet in height and are smothered in massive 5 to 7 inch flowers. That's a big petunia, y'all. So looking forward to trying those out this year. Of course, I love growing super petunias by Proven Winners, but I thought it might be fun to try some of these other ones myself and see how they do. Celosia is a tried and true bloom in my area, especially during drought. It just does beautifully and actually does really well. You do have to still make sure it's watered, but it loves the heat of that midsummer heat where it's like 103 degrees for like 10 days in a row. So the first variety I got is called Orient number 2, and this is a dwarf coxcomb, and it's something a little bit different that I thought about growing to add into containers, but also I just kind of like the little bit of Wizard of Oz look that it kind of has. And it features massive lipstick red crusts. The tidy, busy plants average just 8 inches tall, so very small, and bear impressive, tightly woven and wrinkled heads about 8 inches across. So it might only be 8 inches tall, but the bloom is 8 inches across, which I think will be really fun and kind of unusual to utilize. The other celosia, and I believe that Orient number 2 was new this year to Baker Creek. This other one, Early Rose, is also new this year to Baker Creek. And this is a crusted coxcomb type celosia from Japan in a stunning hot magenta color. This plant stands 3 to 4 feet tall with vibrant heads measuring up to ½ a foot across. So you can see 3 to 4 feet tall, 12 inches, you know, this is 8 inches tall. So big variety for the coxcomb area. Okay, so marigold was hands down one of my favorite flowers to grow last year. Absolutely loved it. I was so thrilled. I started these later on at the end of the spring, beginning of the summer. I started the seedlings inside and then planted the seedlings outside when it started to get a little bit hotter. I think that worked better than what I've done in the past. I treated them right from the beginning for spider mites because that is something that I typically deal with marigolds in my area. So, and I had great success with them and they're absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to try to follow the same path. I actually think I started these in July, but in the heat of the summer, I'll start all these seeds inside and then start moving them out in August and really pay attention and make sure I don't get any spider mite infestations. But I'm really excited to grow more varieties this year. So the first one is called Orange Hawaii, and this is a large, deep orange. Flowers are 4 inches across, very striking and beautiful. Plants are about 3 inches tall, so 4 inches across. I mean, that's a nice size head for a marigold. Very excited about growing that one. The next one is called Sugar and Spice, and this is big blooms like dollops of freshly churned butter, are so sunny and cheerful. Beautiful blooms 2 inches across, sit atop 16-inch plants. So excellent for pots, beds, or borders. So even though it's only 16 inches tall, it'd still be great for cut flowers. But I loved kind of the look of this, kind of the buttery color. And last is called Spun Orange, and this is an extra large, attractive, super double flower with tubular petals in pleasing clear orange, 20 inches tall. So, you know, even though these are both orange, they definitely have a different look. This one almost has like a football chrysanthemum feel to it. This one has more of the traditional marigold look to it. Okay, and finally I'm going to try clover as a cover crop this year. It's something that I kind of plant late summer into early fall. And then we will basically, you'll sow it in place, and basically apparently clover goes a long way to like clean up your soil, replace different nutrients, things along those lines. But it also looks really pretty for cut flowers too. So this will be an experiment for me this year. If you've grown clover before, let me know how your experience was and if you have any suggestions on how I should go about it. Okay, so as you can see, I bought quite a few seeds, but I actually held back a lot this year because I do have a lot of currant seeds. These are all my currant seeds that I've got all cleaned out. It's a lot. So I really did try to restrict myself so that I can use some of the seeds that I already have. A lot of times I purchase on a whim. I see a pretty picture in the catalog and I'm like, oh, I want to grow that. This year I tried to research a little bit more, make sure I was growing varieties that I feel really confident about. And I am trying a few new varieties, but everything I'm pretty much growing, I know it does well in my area. So really it's just going to be like how well I handle getting the seeds to germinate and then caring for the plants once they get out into the garden. Okay, so let's go over my top 3 seeds that I'm excited about growing in 2023 from Baker Creek. Number 1 is a new variety for them called Queen Lemon Peach. So not the Queen Lime, it's actually Queenie Lemon. So not the Queen Lime, but Queenie Lemon. So the base of it is yellow. And so lemony peach zinnia. It's cheerful, hardy, and lemony 2 to 4 inch blooms with dark peach centers bloom all summer long, perfect for cut flowers. The blooms fade in lovely colors as they age. And it is a 2022 All-American selection. So I'm really super excited about growing this. Zinnias grow beautiful in my area, and I love that the base of this is yellow. Yellow is a favorite color of mine, and I don't grow as many yellow flowers as I wish I did. So this will be really nice to grow this year. Number 2, not surprisingly, is a marigold, and it is the Kilimanjaro White. And I don't think this is new this year, but I could be wrong. It is a unique white marigold, lovely 2-inch creamy white blooms that really stand out in the crowd. So I'm really excited about growing that since I had such a great experience with marigolds last year, and they really produced at a time where I didn't have a lot of variety of flowers because it was so hot. And so I'm really excited to have some more varieties of the marigolds, just so at that time of the year when we're in the depths of the heat for summer, where it's just really rough in our particular area of Texas, I can turn to marigolds and have some beautiful blooms at that time of year. So can't wait to start this one as well. And then finally, this is going to be shocking because it's not typically a flower that I like to grow, but I was so drawn to the color. So my number one bloom that I'm most excited about growing from Baker Creek this year is called Nasturtium Tip Top Mahogany. And I was really drawn in by the photo. And that is not how I want to be drawn in on plants. I want to be drawn in at first, but I just couldn't stop looking at this color. I have not seen colors like this except in sunflowers. And so I was really excited to be drawn to this particular depth. It's like reds and pinks and dark crimsons and burgundies and purples and oranges. It's so much variety of color within these petals. Absolutely beautiful. It says opulent blooms in a rich mahogany. These compact 8 to 10 inch plants hold their striking blooms above their foliage, making for an extra lush and colorful display. So one thing about nasturtiums is a lot of times the blooms are below the foliage. So you see green on the top. Then once you move the leaves, you can see the blooms. So this is actually nasturtium on top of the foliage. And so that's one of the reasons I'm really excited to grow it, because I've grown nasturtium in the past, but I don't see a lot of the blooms. And you know, that's what I love. I love the flowers and the blooms. But this particular variety with the flowers on top should make a big difference. These are going to be smaller plants. These are going to be plants I'm just going to be tucking around the edges of my raised gardens where I'm growing my cut flowers, just for additional pollinators, and then also just some beautiful blooms while I'm waiting for some of my cut flowers to grow. So very excited about this particular variety. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video today, just showing what I got in my seed haul from Baker Creek. Once again, I can't say enough about this company. I feel really excited. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I gave them all my real money. None of this came for free, and I will continue to give them my money year after year. They do a great job. You can tell there's a lot of passion in what they do, which I really enjoy. And then I love the artistic flair of their catalogs, and of course their absolutely beautiful packaging, which is wonderful. They also give a lot of information on their packaging, and then you can find additional information on their website, which is great. They're always ready to step in and help you if you have any questions about what you're growing in particular. Okay, so since we're getting started at the beginning of the year, there's going to be new people here. Make sure you go check me out on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I am on all of those platforms, and I try to post to those platforms at least 5 times a week. It's not typically stuff that I have like on my YouTube channel. It's shorts, it's funny stuff, it's simple information. I post a lot of just beautiful pictures of my garden, my home, my puppy dogs. So really fun. Make sure you guys catch me on those areas. And as always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.